What's up, gurus? It's your boy Pablo, wishing each and every single one of you amazing gurus the happiest of Tuesdays. And I hope your week is off to a great start. We've got some great things for you this week, and I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video. That one's receiving a lot of love, and so I'm glad that you guys are enjoying that. And today, I'm so excited. I'm going to be talking to you all about a book, a wonderful book that you can find on the platform in a reading list in our 0 to 1 read list. And this is a really great book that I'm excited to put you on to. It's a popular book, one that came out, I guess, a while ago, but this one is a classic and it changed my life. So I'm so excited to share it with you. If you haven't already heard of it or read it, but if you have read it, I'm sure you will agree that this one is a very good one, a very impactful one. So, before we dive into that discussion, I do want to say a huge shout out to everybody who's already following us on Ask a Guru app. But if you're not already, be sure to follow us on all of our socials, on X, on Instagram, on all the rest at Ask a Guru app, and also subscribe to us on all the video platforms at Ask a Guru TV. Stay tuned, stay locked in. We've got so much great stuff coming your way. And so, most importantly, don't forget to download the app. Download Ask a Guru from the App Store or Play Store, or sign up at askaguru.com. You are going to love all the different lists on there, but most importantly, make your voice heard, share what you love, and you're going to get it right back. And so, with that, I am going to tell you about this book that I hope each and every single one of you get a chance to reading, because it's got some great things. And the book that we are discussing is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And this is an excellent book. And just to give you a really quick synopsis of it, it is a book studying what makes for success in the human life. So, in terms of achievement, but also even fundamentally down to enjoying your life. And so, I think the perfect place to start is in chapter one. Chapter one, without spoiling the book for you, chapter one is all about how they studied the lives of those who were living the longest, and they were trying to find some science behind what was leading to certain communities living way longer than others. And so, of course, you might there are hypotheses around different places all over the world about why certain people were living longer than others, and not only just living longer but enjoying their lives. And so, of course, apart from the health factor in terms of just like your their diet, they studied a community in Italy which was living a very long life, and they seemed very happy, this community. And they found while they were doing the research that it wasn't anything in particular about their diet. They weren't like on any like fasts, or they weren't dieting all the time. They found that they were eating kind of just normal food, what you might consider Italian cuisine, which is heavy on enjoyment. We all love Italian food, so it's very much comfort food. So it's not like just eating grass or broccoli all day, So anyway, they did their research on this group, this community, and what they found was really astounding. Essentially, one of the things that they theorized was the one of the leading factors to this community's longevity of life and enjoyment of life came down to one thing: community. They were a tight knit community where people had friends and loved ones that they were in close contact with, and they spent a lot of time enjoying one another's company. They found that this group of individuals, that they were having meals together very regularly with their friends, loved ones, and that their lives were essentially spent relishing life as part of a community and collective. And so that's such a fantastic finding. The fact that just from feeling like you're part of a community and just the day to day enjoyment of that, uh, that could extend life and make for a much more fulfilling life. And so that's a very beautiful finding. And you know what, gurus, that got me thinking about the beauty of what we're doing, because Ask a Guru is a community. It is a community for you and I to express ourselves, share what we love, receive more of what we love, via amazing curation and recommendations, and being able to get your voice heard in terms of what is impacting and helping you, and allowing that to help others, whether it be playlists or reading lists, movies to watch or TV shows to watch. You're putting it out there for the world to enjoy and to associate who they're getting that benefit from. And though we may be far, spread around the world and may not even know one another personally, we still have the ability to have a great impact on each other's lives and make our lives better. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. And so we are a beautiful community. And I believe in that way, we are replicating what this community in Italy did. We are doing that on the web. And that is why Ask a Guru is the most magical place on the internet, and why we're so glad to have you, gurus. And so yeah, I just when I read that chapter again, it reminded me of the how special what we're doing is. So I found that really cool. And again, we're talking about Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And you can find this book alongside other really fantastic books in the 0 to 1 read list on the platform. So be sure to download the app, and if you've got other recommendations, be sure to add them to this read list, and I will check it out. And so there's one more thing. This book is filled to the brim with just great information. And there's one more thing I would like to share with you, which was probably I would say, the most popular thing that came out of this book, because I remember when this book came out, it made a big splash. It was a big hit. And one of the major ideas or hypotheses that I think has continued to reverberate around the world and has become like a mainstay in terms of like ideas, and especially when it comes to what makes for success, is the idea of the 10,000 hour rule. How many of you gurus have ever heard of this rule? If you have, be sure to let us know in the comment section, and let us know if you've already read this too. I'm just curious how many people have already read this and what you might have encountered in terms of other gems. But the 10,000 hour rule was a big one that came out of this book. And essentially, to summarize, they found that the highest performing individuals, what it came down to was fundamentally how much time they spent with with practice, intentional practice at their craft. So they found that really, in many ways, the some people might have advantages in terms of like maybe your height, if you're a taller basketball player, that because of your height you were predisposed to putting in more practice into basketball, and that in that way that might help. But if people were, if one guy was tall and the other guy was a little bit shorter, if they both put in the 10,000 hours, they would both be really great basketball players. And that's not to say that on any given day one would beat the other, but it's just to say that the level of skill at 10,000 hours was was very noticeable versus somebody who maybe put in 5,000 or 6,000 hours. Essentially, if you had maybe two guys, one guy put in 10,000 hours and the other guy put in 6,000 hours, even though the guy that put in 10,000 hours was shorter, that guy might, you know, still perform at such an elite level that nobody could compete. And so this idea, is not just mapped to basketball, it's mapped to everything from music to scientific achievement to programming, anything, you name it. So um, I thought that that was a really important thing to share with you, gurus, is that this idea is out there. And again, Ask a Guru is not just designed for our enjoyment. I truly believe that our product, in the short term and in the long term, is making you somewhat of a superhuman. I truly believe that. I stand by that because there's just no way that you're getting the best music, books, movies, and TV shows that won't transform you. I know for a fact that what we're doing is transformative. It's making us the best versions of ourselves, and I'm so excited by that. And I just want to read for you a snippet from one of the chapters here, the 10,000 hour rule chapter. I'm going to just read a snippet. And this is the late, great John Lennon speaking. And we will do a future video on the Beatles because the Beatles are one of my favorite rock bands, and I would love to turn people on to the Beatles if they never gave them a listen, or at the very least to share my favorite songs by the Beatles and explore the members. The Beatles. They were a special group, and put you on to some of my favorite songs, and hopefully even get some great recommendations of other wonderful songs by them that I might have missed. So I'm going to read for you now one of the snippets here in Malcolm Gladwell's The Outliers. This is the 10,000 hour rule chapter. John Lennon says, "We got better and got more confidence. We couldn't help it with all the experience playing all night long. It was handy, them being foreign. We had to try even harder, put our heart and soul into it to get ourselves over. In Liverpool, we'd only ever done 1 hour sessions, and we just used to do our best numbers, the same ones, at every one. In Hamburg, we had to play for 8 hours, so we really had to find a new way of playing." So, gurus, I think it's so interesting that one of the great musicians of all time, John Lennon, was describing to you what one of the most impactful and formative experiences were to him and to their band. And it was simply the amount of time that they had to practice their craft and to do so in a real live setting of what they would be doing when they went on tour all over the world. And not only did they have to put in all those hours, but they had to get creative day in, day out. And this is they were playing at clubs in Hamburg, Germany. And so to make sure that they entertained a crowd of non-British people, they were giving their all for very extended periods of time. And I truly believe that this stretched them to their limits. This made them better and better and better. And we cannot deny that John Lennon has that soul. He had that soul. Like, I would just describe his British soul. Like, man, those guys are soul singers. They were making pop music, but anybody who's ever listened to things like Hey Jude or the other wonderful hits knows that John Lennon is infusing soul into rock, and they're giving it to you in a pop way. Here Comes the Sun. There's so many just wonderful songs where you know they're just giving it to us, and so that was formed under this practice by and large. Of course, they had their prior practice, but they really continue to hone their craft under these circumstances. So I think that's really important to point out as well, that you can be born with talent and a knack and an interest, but putting in the time is necessary. It is mandatory if you want to succeed. And so I guess the question now becomes, gurus, is there something in your life that you have an interest in? Do you Would you put in 10,000 hours if necessary to become great at that thing? And I think that these are important questions that we ask ourselves. And as we, of course, just enjoy one another by sharing great things, music, books, movies, TV shows, also, I hope that your life is becoming better and that you're able to give to the world whatever it is that you have in your heart to give to the world. And remember that it's going to likely take a great amount of practice. And so you can be armed with some good knowledge and I think some very great examples in this book, among many other wonderful things that this book has. So, with those two things in mind, I know that this is a longer video, but this is a great topic and it's one that really gets me excited. So, I hope that you enjoy that little breakdown. Remember that I can't wait to get your recommendations if there are other books that you want me to talk about or that you think are right in line with the theme of this, of becoming your best self. Please be sure to recommend them in the 0 to 1 read list, and also post other books that you love, music, movies, TV shows, and I look forward to that. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to us on our video platforms at Ask a Guru TV, subscribe to us on X and on Instagram at Ask a Guru app. Stay tuned, and you are going to love all the great things that are coming your way. Stay tapped in. Love you, gurus. Have a great Tuesday.